Hey, what's up, productivity junkies? Darin Persinger here. Welcome to another Productivity Pearl. Again, I want to thank you guys for being on this email list that I get to go a little bit deeper into our conversations and share a little bit more things with you guys versus just the productivity nuggets that I do. So I hope that I bring value to you with these. If I am, please leave me a note, leave me a message on Facebook or send me an email or something and just let me know that it's worth my time what I'm providing to you guys, okay? So what I want to share with you guys today in this Productivity Pearl is something about increasing your productivity. Well, actually, it's not necessarily about increasing productivity. It's about making you aware of your time. And then once you're aware of your time, you can go ahead and increase your productivity the way that you see fit. See, what I've become aware of, what I've seen from real estate agents, actually just salespeople, business people in general, is they're not aware of their time, and they use a lot of phrases and sayings like, I don't have time for this, or I don't have time for that. And what they're essentially saying is they're unaware of their time. Because people have more time than what they realize, they're just utilizing it very poorly. And I'll say that directly to you. You have more time than what you realize. You're just utilizing it very poorly. So what I want to do is walk you through a couple exercises today in this Productivity Pearl to help you become more aware of where your time is going and what you're doing with it, so then you can essentially fit in the things that matter most into your daily, your weekly, your monthly schedule so that you can have the business that you desire, okay? So let's launch into these exercises. The first thing I want you to do is pull out a sheet of paper, and on the top side of it, on the top half, write down this question. What are your dollar producing activities, or what I like to call your DPAs? Not Darin Persinger's awesome. That's not what DPA stands for. It's dollar producing activities. So what are your dollar producing activities? And I don't want to give you the answer to this. So I'm going to let you figure this out yourself. But if you're struggling with what the answer to this is, let's do a coaching conversation. freecoachingconversation.com, and schedule your time with me and let's go over this. But I will give you some hints. Scanning and faxing offers are not DPAs, okay? What you did to get to that point was the DPA. But working on files, no matter what you might think, no matter how you want to justify it, is not a DPA, okay? And I will debate that with anyone that wants to try to justify it. But if all you're doing is working in files all day, you will run out of business. You will go out of business because you're not doing the things that generated that activity to allow you to maintain something that's going to generate income. We need to get very real about this in the real estate industry, you guys. We're very confused about what are dollar producing activities. So I want you guys to become aware of what are the dollar producing activities for you. I don't want to give you those answers because that could be different for everyone, honestly. That could be different for every single person because we all have different strengths and we all have different skill sets. Actually, I might give out a couple for you here on different ends of the spectrum, okay? I'll throw out these. So I will say content creation, when done correctly, I will say that's a DPA, because if you know anything about me, you know that I believe content creation is lead generation. So content creation, to me, is a form of DPA. Now, another DPA might be calling expireds. That might not be your thing, but that definitely could be another real estate agent's thing, okay? That by getting up, pulling the expireds list, and calling them for an hour a day, those are definitely dollar producing activities. Now for another agent, it might be sphere contacts. So they might be calling their sphere instead of calling expireds. So this might be your DPA. So that's why I don't want to necessarily give you the answers, although I'm giving a couple away right here. There's a lot of ways to generate dollars, to generate appointments, to generate production in this industry, and I don't want to narrow it down to what I think are the right ways to do it, because as long as you identify them and then do them on a consistent basis, you're golden, okay? So you have to decide for yourself, what are your dollar producing activities? I think I've beat this horse to death now. So if you haven't been doing this while I've been blabbering on and on, go ahead and do that right now. Get ready to pause me, figure out, identify what your dollar producing activities are. Once you've identified, I'm going to suggest 4 to 5 here, you guys. Once you've identified 4 to 5 dollar producing activities that you are doing or should be doing, then come back and turn me back on. But get ready to pause it right now. Pause me. All right, welcome back. You've identified 4 to 5 of your dollar producing activities that you need to do on a consistent basis. So now what I want to share with you guys is a little exercise to make you aware of your time and where your time is going. So the first thing I want you to do now is below your dollar producing activities exercise, create a graph where you just have hours written off to the left side and then go day, week, month. Now, what I want you to be real with yourself about here is how many hours are you going to work each day, each week, and each month, okay? And I'm not here to judge and say you should be working 80, 100 hours a week. If you know anything about me, I think time is a horrible metric for success and productivity. Any agent that brags to me about working 100 hours a week, that's ridiculous because you don't get paid by the hour, you guys. You get paid by the transactions that you close. Start using those as metrics, all right? Instead of hours worked. That has nothing to do with your success and how productive you are as a real estate agent. That kind of phrasing needs to be eliminated from this industry. It doesn't make sense. But by utilizing the time, by making us aware of the time, we'll be able to do the activities that we need to do, okay? So what I want you to do here, I don't care if this is 6 hours a day or if it's 12 hours a day, but you put down how many days, hours a day you're going to work, how many hours per week you're going to work, and how many per month. So to keep this simple, I'll start to walk you through this. Let's say I'm going to work 8 hours a day. So I'm going to work 5 days a week. 4 days a week would be better, right? I'm going to work 5 days a week. So 40, well, Darin, how can you work 5 days a week? I'm working 6, 7 days a week. freecoachingconversation.com. Let's figure that out, right? And then per month, so 160. I'll share with you guys this morning. I did a coaching conversation this morning. I did this one-on-one with a client, and we figured out that he's going to most likely be working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So not to say that can't be done. You know, I don't want to make you feel bad if you're going to work 10, 12 hours a day. Let's just make sure they're productive, right? So for this example, we're going to do 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, so that's going to equal out to 160 hours a month. Now we need to figure out where our time is going. And so there's a few categories for that. The first one is meetings. How much time are you spending in meetings? So do you have sales meetings that you go to? Do you have training classes that you're teaching, or committee meetings that you're involved with your local board or other committees or networking groups or anything like that? We need to identify how much time we're spending in those meetings each day and each week and each month, okay? So maybe we can't identify for the day, but we can identify for the week that we're putting in 2 to 3 hours every week in meetings. So you times that by 4, so we're putting in about 12 hours per month in just meetings. Now I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I want to share a story with you guys. This is an exercise, an example that I've been using for a while now. And when you've probably heard me say that I'm a janitor. I come in and I clean up messes. I've helped a lot of brokerages get turned around. One of the last brokerages that I was in, I came in and I did this exercise and I used these as my timelines, my benchmarks, right? Because I'm being paid a certain amount for my time. And here's what we agreed upon. So 160 hours a month. I started to break this down and I got to this number. And this number, well, let me throw this up here. This number, I kid you not, was 36.5. That is how much time they wanted me to spend in meetings every single month. And so I brought this up to the person that brought me in, and I'm like, it's no wonder the person in front of me that I'm replacing failed. You have them spending a whole week every single month in meetings. They're simply in meetings. There's nothing productive about these meetings. This didn't account for like one-to-ones with the agents on helping them grow their business. These were just meetings. So I said, we got to eliminate this somehow. This is ridiculous. There's no way I can be productive only getting to work 3 weeks a month. That's ridiculous. Finishing that story is for another time, but just the way that I was able to become aware of that and quickly identify what one of the problems is so we can start to solve it, right? The problem named is the problem solved. Once you've named it, it's easy to fix it. That's what we're trying to do right here. So back to this example, this person's spending 12 hours every single month in meetings. Well, let's look at this. Let's just look at this right here. So if they're working 8 hours a day, what this comes down to then is that they're spending 1 day and a half. That didn't come out right. Let's try that again. They're spending 1.5 days simply in meetings. You have to get real with yourself. Are you okay giving up 1.5 days a month to simply being in meetings? I'm going to drink a little bit of coffee. If you guys have some coffee or tea right now, or if you're watching this at night, a glass of wine, let's take a little break. You know, for the example I gave before where they were asking me to spend 36.5 hours in meetings, this is a lot better. I would have been thrilled to get it down to this level, but you need to look at your own situation. Are you okay with this? So we'll come back to this in a second. But now what we want to look at is our uncontrollable time. How much time are we spending doing things that we necessarily can't control? Because let's be real here. I'm not kidding myself, and I'm not going to kid you that we are in a reactionary industry. I've sold real estate. I've managed multiple offices. I get it, okay? I understand that you can't come in, clock in at 9 o'clock and leave at 5, shut everything off and expect everything to be okay. There are fires that are going to pop up and fires that need to be put out. Completely understand that and won't argue that with anyone. But I think that what we can do is build that into our schedule, know that we're aware of it, identify it, and then go to work with what we have left over. So let's identify what's uncontrollable in our day, in our week, in our month. And this might be, you know, the more transactions you have going on, the more uncontrolled time that you're going to have. That's one of the challenges that we have. But are you going to get sign calls? That's uncontrolled. You weren't necessarily expecting a lead to come in. Are you going to have files that are transactions that are falling apart? Whatever it is, let's identify those things. You know, phone calls, interruptions, urgent things, even things with kids happening during the day at school, right? These things could all come in and interrupt us. And I want you to go through your own day, and I'm willing to bet that you're going to spend probably 2 hours per day uncontrolled. There's just nothing you can do about those times, okay? So 2 hours a day, so this gives us 10 hours per week, which then gives us 40 hours per month. Are uncontrollable hours. There's nothing we can do about it. It's going to be urgent. There's going to be emergencies. We're going to be interrupted from the work that we want to do. Okay? So this comes out to about a week a month. Can you believe that? Now, once you've identified that and you're aware of that, isn't it crazy? But knowing that that's what we have to work with. But here's what's left over, you guys. Here's what's cool. So knowing that we're going to work 8 hours a day, we don't necessarily have any time in meetings. You know, I'll give this 1 hour. I'll just give this 1 hour, just because. So this comes out to 3 hours that are total, that are completely uncontrolled, that there's nothing that we can do with it. I'm going to put that in red so it pops out at you. 3 hours that there's nothing that we can do about it, okay? In this scenario, there's 12 to 13 hours per week, okay? 2 to 3 hours per week here, and then 10 hours per week here. So 12 hours here, and then in this situation, 12 hours, 50, that's going to be 52 hours total, okay? So that's time gone. That's time lost. There's nothing that we can do about that. You've identified what we don't get to work with now. This isn't what we get to work with. This is an ideal world. This is fantasy land. I'm going to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month. That's fantasy land. That doesn't exist. This is reality. This is what happens when we show up to our day, okay? So now that we've identified this, what we're going to do is take the 8 hours and subtract the 3 hours from it to give us the total controllable hours that we have, which tells us that we have 5 hours per day to work with. Here, 40 hours per week, but we're losing 12 hours per day, which gives us 28 hours per week to work with, right? And then over here, 160 hours per week, per month is what we want to work with, but we're losing 52 hours a month to things that we can't control or meetings that we're involved with, which gives us 108 hours per month, right? I'm a real estate coach and trainer, not a CPA, not good at math. But I think that all works out. So here's what you guys get to do now. Is go back over to your dollar producing activities and you start to fit this in. You start to move all this stuff down into this area. Okay, so I have to contact my sphere. I need to create content. I need to call expireds. I need to do all these things. All those go down into this area. You guys have enough time. You guys have enough time to do all this stuff. Even if these numbers increase, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't, but then there's another issue with your business that we need to fix. freecoachingconversation.com. You might need to hire an admin, or you might have to do something different in order to make time for this. But in this scenario, you have enough time. And I'm going to link up below the 1-2-1 business development formula. If you're not aware of that, I'll just share with you guys really quick to end this Productivity Pro, because we're going pretty long with it. The 1-2-1, let me put it up over here actually, so you guys can see this. But I'll link up a couple videos and blogs to this. The 1-2-1 business development formula is this. 1 hour of content creation. Okay? 1 hour of content creation per day. Then 2 hours of business development. Let's get rid of that and simplify this. 2 hours of biz def, and this is, lead gen and lead conversion stuff. And this is where sphere, expireds, marketing, whatever, promotion of your business goes to. Again, check out the links below where I go more in depth into this. And then the last one here is 1 face-to-face appointment per day. Okay? So 1 hour of content creation, 2 hours of business development, 1 hour face-to-face per day. Now check this out. What this equals out to is 4 hours per day, right? So in this scenario here, 5 hours per day, there's enough time to do that 1-2-1 business development formula if this works out for you. What you guys need to do is identify where your time is going, become aware of it, then figure out if you need to eliminate anything or what you really need to be doing with the time that you can control. You have more time than you realize. You're probably just utilizing it poorly.